Welcome to Twentyz Real Talk.
Your weekly dose of just being real together.
So strap yourselves in. This is going to be fun. So Shanti, this morning we're going to talk about one of the most common mental illnesses. And you know that even though this mental illness is treatable, 40% of people only get treated. So it means that 60% don't go and get treated. The majority of people don't. We're looking at it and we're thinking, why is this? Probably because people sometimes feel embarrassed, or they're like, it can't be me. If I'm experiencing this, maybe I'm not a good Christian.
Yeah, very true. We are talking about anxiety. It is an intensive, persistent, excessive, constant worry and fear. It's when you experience rapid breathing, fast heart rates, sweaty palms. You feel tired, yet you can't really sleep so well. You're constantly overthinking things and worrying about everything. And I know this very well because it is something that I have experienced as well.
Yeah, and why anxiety? Why do we get anxiety? I think it's triggered by a big event happening, or a big event that's going to happen, or perhaps that has happened. It can be some small little things, stressful things that build up and build up and build up. I think if you take losing a loved one, that's a big event that can trigger it. Or it could be constant small little stresses that happen in your work situation. Or perhaps it could be some financial problems that you're having. So Shanti's anxiety that you were speaking about earlier was triggered by the two of us almost losing our 10-day-old little girl.
Yes, it was a very, very traumatic event. So, what do you do if you're experiencing anxiety? Step one is get help, and get help quickly, because the longer you leave it, it can actually progress into depression.
Okay, so where do we start?
Okay, all right, so we are made up of a body, a mind, and a soul. That makes up a whole being. And we need to care for all three of those, because if one of those are out, it affects the others. So let's start with taking care of our body.
Okay.
This is our physical aspect. So we always need to make sure, are we eating healthy? Are we getting enough exercise? Are we sleeping well? Sometimes there's chemical imbalances, so we might need to see a psychiatrist and to get onto some medication, because God does use medication to also help heal us.
So anxiety is said to be all in the mind. Here's why. Because it's the brain's way of getting us ready to either face a stressful situation, or if there's danger coming up, it's getting us prepared for this. And then we look at, how do we cope with it? What do we use to cope with it? We suggest, guys, that you either go to a close family member or a good friend and you talk about it. Or you can go to a psychologist. Psychologists give you coping mechanisms that help you, or they help make sense of what is going on in your mind, your thoughts. The other thing that's great to do is to find a hobby or something you enjoy. Journaling it, I'm not very good at that, you're good at that. Maybe for girls it's painting, but go and find something you enjoy.
And lastly, how do we care for our soul? This is really simple. You spend time with Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, quiet time in prayer. Praise and worship brings greatest breakthrough. Speak to your pastor about it. Find your Christian friends who will love, support, and encourage you through this time. Find scripture and put it somewhere where you can see it and declare it every day.
You know, Shanti, even Jesus experienced anxiety to the point that he was sweating blood. Now, in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus said to God, please take away this cup. This what he was so anxious.
Cup of suffering.
He wanted God to take it away. But what he did is he called all his disciples with him. And he said, come and pray with me. You see, he went and spoke to those around him. Now, we need to remember, we don't want you to do this alone. We need everybody to remember that if we do this alone, we lose. But we do it together, we win.
Yes, so true. So we want to encourage you to get help and to care for your whole being, body, mind, and soul. But let's keep talking.
And let's keep it real.